This presentation is about Thomas Jefferson, who lived from 1743 to 1826, and the Declaration of Independence and notes on the state of Virginia. Who is Thomas Jefferson? Thomas Jefferson was born into a wealthy family in central Virginia, where he was raised on a plantation. At 17, he went to the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, where he collected 10,000 volumes of books that became the beginning of the Library of Congress. Before he was 20, he was one of the best-read men in Virginia. After he graduated from William and Mary, he studied law and in 1769 was elected to the Virginia colonial legislature that was called the House of Burgesses. When the Revolutionary War began, he was sent as a delegate for Virginia to serve on the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia, where, due to his knowledge of political philosophy and excellent writing ability, he was chosen to draft the Declaration of Independence. In addition to serving on the Second Continental Congress from 1775 to 1776, he held an impressive resume of political positions, including the following: Governor of Virginia, 1779 to 1781, American Minister to France, 1784 to 1789, Secretary of State, 1790 to 1793, Vice President of the United States, 1797 to 1801, and Third President of the United States, 1801 to 1809. He died on July 4, 1826, 50 years after the adoption of the Declaration of Independence and the same day that John Adams died. Thomas Jefferson's accomplishments. Thomas Jefferson was an egalitarian who opposed pretentious practices of high office. As president, he wore shoes with laces rather than buckles, believing buckles were undemocratic and classist. He also forbade the national celebration of his birthday or the printing of his face on coins. He felt the aristocracy should be based on virtue and talent, or merit, rather than on wealth and birth. Jefferson has many accomplishments, including establishing public schools, developing the decimal system for American currency with pennies, dimes, and dollars, commissioning the Lewis and Clark expedition, founding the University of Virginia, doubling the size of the United States and gaining control of the Mississippi River with the Louisiana Purchase, and founding the modern Democratic Party. Jefferson was also an accomplished architect, designing the Virginia State House, his home at Monticello, and the initial buildings at the University of Virginia. Jefferson also worked to establish religious freedom, to end slavery, and to weaken the power of the aristocracy, and assert the idea of man's inalienable rights. Slavery and hypocrisy. Upon the discovery that Thomas Jefferson owned approximately 600 slaves over the course of his lifetime, and that genetic testing confirmed rumors that he fathered at least one of 6 children his slave Sally Hemings bore, has caused many to declare that Jefferson was a hypocrite for speaking and writing out against the institution of slavery and for freedom and equality of all men. His defenders argue that freeing his slaves at this time of legalized slavery would have left them jobless and destitute, with nowhere to live. What is your opinion on this controversy surrounding one of the most acclaimed founding fathers of the United States? Declaration of Independence. Written primarily by Thomas Jefferson, signed by 56 delegates to the Continental Congress, and ratified on July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was how the 13 colonies declared their independence from Great Britain and became the United States of America. It outlines the philosophical and tangible reasons why the United States was declaring its independence from Great Britain. It can be divided into 5 parts. First, the introduction. One long sentence that states that out of respect for Great Britain, this document will explain why the U.S. is declaring their independence. Second, the preamble that gives the philosophical reasons behind the Declaration, which are heavily influenced by John Locke, including the inalienable rights of all people for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that it is the government's sole purpose to protect these rights. It also declares that Great Britain has denied the colonists these rights, thus they have the right to overthrow Great Britain. Third, a list of grievances, specific lists of grievances against King George III and Britain. Fourth, declaration that the colonists' efforts to appeal some of the decisions of King George III were met in vain. And fifth, the conclusion. Since the founders of the Declaration of Independence were committing treason against Great Britain, they were careful to state that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain should be completely dissolved. They also state that they have all of the rights of any independent state, such as the rights to wage war, make peace, contract alliances, and establish trade. Notes on the State of Virginia. This document has been called the most important American political and scientific book of the age. As wartime governor of Virginia, Jefferson wrote the Notes on the State of Virginia in response to inquiries made in 1780 by a French diplomat gathering data on America. It is a statistical survey of Virginia, but became an encyclopedic commentary on America and the ideals of American Enlightenment. It reveals Jefferson's ideas on art and education, attitudes towards slavery, devotion to science and nature, faith in the small farmer, and the idea that those who labor in the earth are the chosen people of God. It is a patriotic defense against criticism by French naturalist Buffon, who suggests that all species, including man, degenerate in the New World. And Buffon ended up apologizing for his disparaging comments about America after reading Notes on the State of Virginia.